detail. It's become clear that a question has been asked a number of times, and I thought I'd just do a very quick video just to try and make things clear. People have been asking, if I buy an Amiga version, how do I upgrade it to a PC version or vice versa? So the key thing with the Checkmate 1500 Plus is it's a modular case, and I'm not sure if it's the first ever, but it's designed to take multiple different types of computer motherboards. And what I'm going to try and show you is how it achieves this. So what I've done is I've gone back to the old design system, just so I can turn things on and off, and you can get a feel for what's going on here. And then maybe a couple of times I'll tell you to use your imagination, but I think I know what I'm to do with the screw fixings. So basically, here's the Checkmate 1500 Plus, and it's grey phase. Funny enough, that's not the colour. That's just the colour I used to allow me to see it and so on, nice and neatly. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to turn bits and pieces off, so the first thing we're going to do is turn off the lid, because we don't want to see it. Let's get rid of the keyboard, so it moves, maybe move around a little bit quicker. You probably find I can't find the keyboard. Oh, no, that figures. Let me get rid of down here. Turn off the key. We don't need the keyboard. And we'll twist this around a little bit. Center it up. Right. Now again, you're going to have to use your imagination. These are design drawings, so they're not the prettiest. Ignore the green. Can you see all these holes in the base? Now, ignore these ones over here. They're for holding the drivetrain in place. What we're really interested, if I can get it in the right position, what we're really interested in is all the holes. Pretty much these holes here. Now you see there's loads of holes. Now, basically, they're mounting points for what are called standoffs. I always get the name wrong, but they're standoffs. And they're little 4mm standoffs, and they're 6mm. Let's not get technical. They stand up from the base of the tray, 4mm roughly. Thanks very much. And there are enough holes in the tray for all the boards that I am going to support. Now that is Mini ITX, Micro ATX, Amiga 500, 600 and 1200. Those are the 5 basic motherboard types that will fit. ATX won't go in, eATX won't go in. So for PC side, it's a Micro ATX and Mini ITX. Now what happens then is, typical, I haven't got one in front of me. Let me, hold on. Now you have all these standoffs. Now if you don't know what a standoff is, basically, I'm going to get really, really close. Basically, something like that. It's going to be painted to match, and it's got a screw thread in it. Then what you do is you pick the holes you actually want to use, and then, hopefully you can see this, you put one of these in each of the holes that you want to use. And by doing that, it raises the height of the thread for the board to sit on, because no one's ever picked up on the fact, well, why don't they all short circuit? So you put these in, but you must put them only in the holes that are going to be used, because otherwise if you put them in all the holes, then it could touch the circuit board chips and base, and then it just goes bang. Okay, that's really important to understand that. Anyway, so you put these into screw holes, and then what it does is it basically turns those screws on, and then they're usable by the specific motherboard. Now, if I tip this here, now you can see at the back, that one is, I think, is the A500 motherboard. Could be the 1200. I think it's the 500 motherboard. Yeah, 500 motherboard. The reason I check is because it's bound to be someone else is going to know about it. So if you're going to put a 500 motherboard in there, you want that panel on the back. Now, you can see there it's got all the slots, all the socket holes for the rear of the motherboard. And up here you've got an empty block there, which will take one of these. Let me see when I've got it here. God's sake. There you are. you screw your power supply in there, okay? Turn it up. These are your fan holes. Okay. Now on the Amiga version, there's only 2 fan holes, and to be fair, you don't really need any. I put them in there because I thought it might be useful. Underneath here, this is what we call the user port. Now that basically allows you to 3D print a frame that can hold pretty much anything. So you can design it for holding a Raspberry Pi, you can design it for holding HDMI, USB, and all your other ports that may not be supported. Okay, so that's for there. And up here is the Zorro card-based slots. There's a couple there. Okay, very important. Now that's if you want to build an Amiga one. What if you want to build a PC one? Well, what we do is we get rid of, when I find it. So it's always get rid of that, which is the 500 backplate, and then you put in the ATX backplate. Now the ATX backplate is the same for micro ATX and mini ATX. Sorry, micro ATX and mini ITX. And then you put screws in different positions, so different screws will be, I mean, I'll have the instructions on how to do this, which screws to use, but it's pretty obvious. You get the board, put it in place, and underneath you'll see screw holes, and you just put the risers in there. You have to do this if you built a case. You pretty much have to do this yourself on the older case. No, even the newer cases. You have to screw them in anyway, so it's nothing new to people who build cases, okay? So you screw them, and you've just got then a load of studs that aren't used. But you've got all the studs. Now, the smart people, if you're really clever, you'll notice that not all the screw holes are actually in there. I've only got the screw holes for the 500, mini ITX, and micro ITX. They've got to be added for the 1200, 600s. But just ignore that, okay? They're all going to go on there. So that's now got the PC backplate, or the micro ATX and mini ITX. Let's just call it ATX backplate. So here you've got 3 fans. Again, you've got the PSU. Ignore this panel down here. That's actually going to go because I've realised it's interfering with the motherboard, so that's got to go. But over here we have got a user panel underneath the power supply, and of course you put your motherboard in there, and there's a backplate goes in. It goes in that big slot there. So if you've got, for example, an AMI ITX, you put that in there, and the ITX screws. If you've got a board that's coming, you put that in there, and there's a backplate put it in there. So this backplate would actually fit a number of probably. Well, actually, no. Initially, it's going to be Amiga systems, but you know, long term, I'm hoping it's to sell to the PC community as well, the retro community. So you know, it's going to be quite popular. Now, we've got another type of backplate for the PC. So for the Amiga one, there's but let me show you the 2 Amiga ones. There's a 500 backplate. And if I scroll down or up, oh, maybe it's not on this model. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, the 1200 one is not on this model. Okay, so I haven't added this one. Sorry, but it's like the Amiga one. And this is the ports. The only difference between this and the 1200, 600 one is the ports at the bottom are a different configuration. And that's it. Anyway, let's get rid of that. Let's come back to this ATX plate. I bet any money I haven't got the. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, I know why. These are the designs that have gone off for manufacture. That is the reason. That's the reason for that. So these are the ones that have actually been manufactured, and I haven't got them to manufacture the vertical one. I'll tell you what I will do. Let me a second. If I'm going to stop this because I'm getting a bit of a chest. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so what we've got here, I've loaded up the original designs I created. We had to redo them for first reasons to get details to the manufacturing house. But anyway, the reason I'm showing you this is because we haven't modelled up the 2 new ones I'm going to show you. So, so these will look slightly different. Just ignore it, just to show you. So this is the 500 one. You notice it's got 3 fan holes, and we've only got 2 now. We don't need 3 in Amiga. Probably don't need any, to be fair. But and it's the same. So that's the same layout. So what you have there is still modular. Oh, no, I suppose the other good thing about this, especially if I turn off the drive tray, turn that off, you can see the actual studs. Now I've actually got all the studs in here, and you can see there's loads of studs in that base. Let's go a bit. There we go. Loads of studs in the base. I'm just, this shadow is a bit of a pain, but you can pretty much see the studs in there, hopefully. So there's loads of studs in there. I've covered that. Right. So the back tray is the important thing. So the thing that's modular really is all the studs allows you to adapt the studs to suit what you need. You find this in PCs anyway. You'll find they've got all the studs, the positions to put studs, the extenders, thread extenders, to suit your motherboard, because sometimes the stud comes up and it's touching the motherboard, so you don't want that. So this is nothing new. This is the back plane, I think, is possibly the new bit, which is the modular bit. So at the back here, we've got the back plane for the Amiga 500. If I turn that off, now they just literally screw in. There's 3. In fact, you just about see they're 1, 2, 3, and there's two threads either side down the sides, and you just screw them in, and then they're rigid. And if I go up here to the Zero card tray, yeah, and this is the one for the 1200. So there's slightly different layout of the ports at the base. Everything's out. Remember I said earlier on there's only 2 fans, okay, but the rest of what I said is the same. So that's those two. Now, if you build this thing with an Amiga 1200, 600, or 500, and then you decide you want to change your mind, all you do is you take that off, and then we go down to this bit. I've got to find it again. Card bay. If you want to put a PC in, again, you change you move the threads to the different studs to suit the new motherboard, and then you put this modular plate on the back, which is the PC one. Again, it's subtly changing, but it's actually pretty much the same. So there's the one what we call horizontal riser. So if you're going to put a GPU in, say for example, let's say for example you're going to build a board. The board screws into the case, and you want to put in like not a board, probably a single slot card. Now you can only use with the board. There's only 1 card slot, so we only need 1 card tray. But there's an adapter that will go in place. Now, that's a whole different subject. I've covered that in videos. So your card would go in there. So basically, what you have is, if I go in and grab a motherboard, let me get a motherboard. Micro ATX. Yeah, there's a Micro ATX motherboard. Well, let's put. Oh no, don't do that again. Why is? Sorry, I thought it was going to crash. Crashed earlier. I don't know why. So we put a riser board in. No, that's not it. That's the support. There's a riser. Now we have these little riser boards. Now, in the early stages, it might be ribbon cable, which works just as well as shielded ribbon cables. Cost about a tenner, but the plan was always to do these. We found some, but we're having a few problems with supply. So let's go and find the GPU board, and you put GPU board in there. There you go. So if you've got yourself a PC, you put that in there, and of course now you can see, because you've got the different back plane, you see it'll connect up, and away you go. Now, there is another option for the PC. If you're, let me turn off the GPU, and I'll turn off the riser. There is an option. Now I'm going to take out the back plate. Bear with me a second. Card bay. Turn off that, and then put in the low profile. Now we're doing another one called a low profile bay. So the idea with this is, now these are only half height cards. You can only plug half height cards in here, but it will allow you to put, I think I've got some in here, low profile. So you can now plug in a couple of low profile cards. Now, not about the board now, to about normal micro ATX. If you've got those slots, you see, you can only use half heights. Okay. Remember, this is a small form factor case. Yeah. So you can plug them in it, and you can build yourself a cool PC that way round. So you have the horizontal, or you have the half height verticals. Now that might be a suitable one. There may be half-height vertical one for the Tabor. I don't know. I don't know if I've got actually a Tabor model on it. Yeah, I have. Look, let's put the Tabor on and turn off the micro ATX. Yeah, it's only a picture, and we'd have to get rid of one of them. There we go. So technically, if you've got a low profile, you can have a Tabor in there, and it just sits in there neatly like that. Yeah, which I think is quite neat. So that's how you fit them in. Now, of course, if you've gone the other way and you want to take it apart and build an Amiga, then all you do is you take out your PC motherboard, okay, and you turn off that back plate, or you remove the back plate, and then you want to build, say for example, you want to build 500. Well, let's do a 1200 because I always do a 500. Let's go the Zorro card tray. So that's the one for the 1200. You screw that into the back. You add the motherboard, okay, and I think I've got an accelerator here. Yep. So the accelerator sits in there. It does fit. It's quite snug. The good thing on the new one is there's a massive 120mm fans fitment here, which you can't use in here, obviously. But the good thing about that is there's a lot of vents that are going to come up, so it'll cool your CPU card, which is actually really useful. So there's your 1200. Put your drive tray back in, and then you can go and you can stick a. Let me go put an Amiga. Where can I find it? Here's your floppy disk. So you screw in your floppy disk drive, and I've got somewhere DVD slot load. There you go. So you got that in there, and away you go. And you've got that. Obviously, you're going to put your power supply at the back, just in case you're wondering where that's going. So there's your power supply. So that all fits in there nice and neatly. Okay. Now you'll notice that there is nowhere to put Zorro cards. Unfortunately, we can't put Zorro cards in at the moment because the slots. If you can see my cursor here, right in where the accelerator plugs in. To do this, we need to be able to get the expansion card sockets, which are very almost impossible to get. So if a supply becomes available, it may be possible to make an adapter to be able to, bring a card bay along here with a riser, put some slots in. Personally, don't know if it's actually worth it. Well, that's just me, far be it from me to say what's worth it and what's not. There's lots of other ways of doing these things that if you want to do it. I mean, but yeah, so if that's not something we'll be doing, so don't buy it if you think that's happening. People have asked, can I put in there the mediator board? No, you can't. It won't fit. It's meant for a tower case. If you want to do that, buy a tower. So, but there are lots of. I mean, I'll give an example. When the Vampire becomes available for hopefully for the 1200, I know that they're working on the adapters. You'll be able to put a Vampire in there, which will have potentially a network card, and it will also have an RTG card. So pretty much two of the slots will be taken up with graphics and network anyway, so you don't really need that. But you'll be able to do quite a lot. So say you got fed up your 1200 and thought I've got a 600 with a Vampire in it. So then I go and I take out my 1200. Bear with me. Take that out. Take that out. I've seen when I've got the 600 in. Yeah, I have. Look. There you go. And you pop in a 600 motherboard and just for fun, stick a Vampire in the wrong position. Actually, it's not in the bad position. So there you go. So there's plenty of room in. Oh, your drives. Let me turn around because you're probably wondering where your drives go. Now, this drive tray technically, technically it will take 4 drives. Now, whether you can actually get them in there is a whole different ball game. As you can see, so basically they go under the tray. Now you can see you're not going to get one in there, but you could potentially put these drives, which are but they're SATA, see, so you get these whole problems. But I would have thought most people would be just using a compact flash, which obviously there's plenty of room in there for compact flash. Now there's even we're thinking about putting on the front, in case you haven't seen it, front ports. There you go. Ignore some of the ports because you won't be using USB. Maybe using USB, I don't know. But that's a compact flash card. So we may do adapters for putting the. No, we will be doing adapters. Sorry, we will be doing adapters so you can put your compact flash card at the front and swap it out and put a different one in. But there you go. So that's basically what you want to do if you want to build a different machine. I hope that covers this subject and puts it to bed. The power supply. Oh, I tell you what. Let's very quickly go over the power supply. Right, and I haven't got it on this this display. I'm going to pause and I'm going to come back. Okay, I'm back in. Right, so I'm going to show you the power connection. Now, PC power supply goes straight in, plug in the motherboard, it's not an issue. Okay, so now what I'm showing you at the moment is, now if I kind of look a bit weird, it's because my cat's decided to lay right in front of me and wants fussing, so I'm not going to throw. Don't want to get rid of her. And I've got to get it done. So, right, there you go. Proof. I'll keep that. Right. So what you can see here is an A500 here. Now, this is going to be this. Oh, okay. This is the 500 configuration, not the maximum configuration you can get. So basically, what you've got a 500. Let me turn off some of these. Okay, so turn that off. Right, so there's a 500 with the expansion card. It's an optional extra. Okay, and you notice it's got this massive connector here. That's where the power plugs into it. Okay, from the power supply. So you plug that in, and the whole thing's powered. It's sweet. But you obviously need that power, that thing there, and you might not want that. And of course, this does not work on the 1200 and the 600. Now, you may have actually picked up on the fact that I've actually got the wrong backplate in this. Oh no, maybe not. But anyway, so that does not work on the 1200 and the 600. So the question came up, well, what about the 1200 and 600? It makes perfect sense. Or it may be you don't need this backplane. So let's get rid of this backplane. And you've just got a 500. Now, how are you going to power the thing? So, Rob's come up with the idea. I've asked him how to lay this out. Usual, working together thing. So we've got a really small board here now, which would be a lot cheaper than the other. In fact, two boards. Now, I will say it's really important because people pick me up on this. It does get frustrating. So you see, here's the great big micro ATX power connector. The power connector goes into there. And there's some LEDs, power LEDs, and a couple of bits. There's a fan connector, that kind of thing for powering the fans and so on. Ignore the shape of this connector. I needed to show I've got a connector that goes from there to the back. Okay, and the first one I came up with was one from a Molex connector, and I shoved it on there. And people said, "Oh, you can't use that because people plug hard drives in and blow the machine up." We're obviously not going to use that. It's very important to understand that. But you have to. We do know kind of what we're doing. So, and anyway, it would be different. You'd be a different color scheme as well. But we're using a different connector. So, connecting to there, and then there's a small cable from whatever connector we decide to use. It goes from there, and it goes to this little board on the back. Now, if you can see this little board on the back, it says power connector. It's got a connector on there. It goes through. There will be the wiring won't go through the drive bay. It will probably come through just above here. Don't worry about that for now. And you can see these pins in here, 5 pins. They plug into the connector of the Amiga. Okay, so there'll be a hole here to make room for this. Just bear with us on this. Okay, let me bring that in. But I do get asked these daft questions sometimes. But they're not really daft actually. They're kind of, no, we know what we're doing. Just we're trying to put something together for people so you can understand what we're doing. So then that will plug into there, and there'll be we'll make on Shapeways we'll design a little thing, a 3D printed back which you can screw on to make it look pretty. Don't need it, but if you want that, they usually tend to be a little expensive. But we'll give the models out, and if you want to print your own, you can. But so that's how the power is going to be connected if you're not using the big Zorro adapter board. And that'll work with all 3 of them. So, it saves you having to use the old power supply. Now, there's nothing stopping you using your old Amiga power supply. It'd be stupid. I've got to be honest, it'd be pretty stupid. But if you're going to use the SFX built-in power supply that costs about £30, do that. Plug into there, plug into here, connected, done. And that's plenty of power. Everything you're going to need. So, hope that answers the power connecting. So what I suppose now, hopefully this is. I'm going to be doing another session on Sunday where I'm going to answer a load more questions. And sorry, I'm just grabbing a picture to put on the screen. Might as well end on a nice picture. So I'm doing one more Q&A. I may have a special guest, don't know yet. You'll have to tune in to see. But I'll be doing that. So answer again, get your questions together. And I really want it to be a really good question and answer session, but because it's the last one and there'll be 2 more days. Now, I have been pleasantly surprised. I mean, yesterday it was our anniversary. It was quite funny actually because it was quite quite nice. It was our anniversary yesterday, so off we went. And during yesterday, the Kickstarter jumped by about 4,500. It just shot up. So it's now at 55,718 with 5 days left. Again, if I show you the dashboard, yesterday's was okay. You can see it literally shot up. Now, ignore that; that'll go up during today. I mean, it's gone from there up. I mean, that really has jumped up. So that was quite a big over from yesterday so far. Today is about 5.5 grand. So that's jumped. So that's given me some good feelings about this. Now, if I scroll down again, as I've said before, I've got even more project followers now, 395, and have converted another 30 of them. So these followers are actually backing as it goes through. Now, I don't know if all of them are going to do it, but to be honest, 125, 100, I think 100 more, 125 more is all we need. So we should be good. Now, you know, again, it'd be nice if we got to the stretch goal, because then I can, without any problems at all, I can make the adapter, the tool for the DVD one, slot load DVD. Still be able to get it, but anyway. So there you go. So it's on a bit of a rise, as you can see. There is talk at the moment. I want to be absolutely clear about this. Actually, be very clear. People are saying about, can I put a 3000 motherboard and a 4000 motherboard, and we're looking into it. But if you're thinking of buying a case specifically to put a 3000 motherboard in it or 4000 motherboard in it, I cannot guarantee that's going to work. Now, admittedly, the original Mark 1 was no chance, because it wouldn't take the full length cards, and it wouldn't take, which meant the board wouldn't go in. Now I've expanded on it. Now, if this is a success, okay, and we meet the targets, and it actually is a goer, I will take my 3000 apart, and then I'll have a look and see how we're going to fit it. Now, I'm pretty confident it would need a new riser board. So people out there would need to get involved and do a new riser board, because I'm not hunting, because we fit it in slightly differently if they do. And I remember I said about the 2 studs. So you might be pushed. That's not a definite no, but we would have to see. But then at that point, I could if I wanted to, because the one thing I've noticed is my case is about 5mm lower than the 3000, and I thought I'm probably going to lift it, just get that extra bit so it matches a lot closer. In fact, I think I've actually got a picture here. This video is just going to end up going on forever now, but you know how these things go with me. What did I? Oh no, it's in their downloads. Well, let me show you this picture, that you can get a bit of a feel for what I'm talking about. There you go. So let me shrink this so you can actually see the whole case, which is always nice. Right. So as you can see, here's the 1500, the original, and I put some risers underneath the 3000, which did actually make me think you could fit risers to the 3000. You could drill a couple of holes in it, or we might be able to make a frame or something. But I thought it was quite nice to put a keyboard underneath it. Although you wouldn't get you wouldn't get a keyboard because it's too bloody small, isn't it? But unless you've got a really tiny one. But yeah, so you can see it's it's a bit lower. The base is the same, and that's in line. It would be stupid not to raise this up to 5. I think it's about 5 to 10 millimeters. And also I'm actually going backwards with it. So no, that's not the one. That's something completely different. People said about that slope. That slope. I don't know what that slope's doing. There isn't a slope in it, trust me. But you can see the end of the case is not the same length as the 3000. Well, that actually is going to be extended 10mm anyway to give the water cooling solution more room. So in fact, it's going to end up identical size. So it is going to end up the same size as the 3000 case. So theoretically speaking, we should in theory be able to fit. Now, of course, you know, thinking it works, and I mean, I know instantly there's going to be a bit of a problem because of the way I fit the drive tray. The drive tray has to screw to the base. Now, of course, with the 3000 motherboard, it might take up all the slots. It might be a bit of a problem. I may have to rethink how I screw that in, or do a specifically custom drive tray. But that's something that we thought about. Now, the power supply should be okay because it's up in the corner, so that should be okay. And the 3000, I don't think the 3000 motherboard goes the right way across. Of course, then you've got power issues because then you're going to have to power this thing, which means I'm going to have to make adapters to plug into the power. And maybe, you know, there's a whole raft of potential problems. It may happen, okay? I can't promise it. And I will only sell it to people who've got a smashed up 3000 case, or if these are, I'm not going to be old about this, but I mean, it would gut me for people to take the motherboard out of that amazing 3000 case and put it into mine. That'd be stupidity, unless it's smashed up, or you've got a motherboard that new, because I think there's new motherboards being made, so that might be interesting. For the 4000, I think the 4000 is actually a little bit easier, but again, that really will need a new riser. Now, there is a new riser board that's been made. They'll have to make one lower with less slots, custom for this board if they wanted it to fit. I don't think, apart from the manufacturing tool, you know, that kind of thing, I don't think that's too big a deal to take a slot off. But again, you know, and then they could probably get around the whole issue of powering, because I think they've probably got micro test powering. But anyway, that's for them to think about. But so I would work really hard to make the 3000 motherboards fit, but I cannot promise, because this case was not designed to be a replacement. It was designed to do different things. So you know, everyone looks at it and says, "Oh no, it's the same case. It's different." Okay, it's very important to understand it. But if it's possible, I'll do it. Trust me, I will do it. But yes, yeah, so I think, I'll give an example why it's right. So if you see let me explain why there could be a physical issue. If you see here, can you see the edge of the left-hand side of the left-hand floppy disk drive? Now, the riser board sits inside, obviously, at that point and goes all the way to the back. Well, that kills this drive bay. Now, bear in mind, these are 5 1/4 drive bays. So you're only going to have one bay available. All right? You won't be able to get slot loading DVD drive in there. You just won't. Now, okay, maybe I can do, because I was talking about doing a slot loader and floppy disk in the same bay. Maybe that's possible. But that bay would be useless because that riser would be sitting halfway through it and going to the back. So there's all these kind of issues. And of course, the drive tray, again, as I was saying before, has to be a completely different design to make it fit. Come on to the 4000. Again, you know, I've said the same thing again. You've got the same issues to think about. There's all kinds of problems about, is it going to fit in? But the motherboard is, I think it's just a little bit smaller. So sadly, I don't have a 4000 motherboard. So I can't test that one. I've got someone who's going to loan me one. But I said it's no point unless this is a success. Absolutely no point at all. But if I will make you this little promise: if the Kickstarter is a success, and it is physically possible to make these cards work in my new case, and people out there are prepared to put the effort in for making the different riser if it's needed, and to do the electronics, if they're happy to do that, then I will bend over backwards to make this happen. Because ultimately, you know, I mean, I've got to be honest. The thought of having a 4000 motherboard in this case with, say, compact flash, do you know, that even appeals to me. Now, most people know I'm not a big 4000 fan because it was an ugly mother. And I always thought that AJ was, so it's two more bit planes, whatever. You know, it never was that big a deal to me. But you know, in a nicer look, if it was in the 3000 case, well, that's quite pretty. So yeah, and it would make quite a nice little system in the Monday. Anyway, again, I've waffled on. Let's see how this goes. Please back it. I will be in Greenford tonight at the Greenford Computer Club, showing the case off. So, you know, what can I say? Hopefully, again, you know, it's 55,718 at the moment. We've still got just under 22,000 to go, which is just under a third away. Still a long way to go, But as I said, the signs are positive. And if you want this case, I'm sorry, it's up to the community. It's not in my hands. You know, it always was in the community's hands. So there we go. You probably aren't even watching this bit. I can't believe you got this far. If you are, I'll be very surprised. But yeah, so hope that's okay, and I'll speak to you soon.